Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, April 3rd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And yes, I do have a pretty bad cold, so I appreciate your patience with my frog-like voice. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, we are taking a look at TSLL. Very, very crazy move around the day, especially when you factor in the context that there was actually a gap down. The price was at one point all the way down there. However, the remainder of the day, very, very impressive bounce, which has now led to a good solid pattern here. And the first key level to watch moving forward now in terms of areas of resistance, at least in my opinion, right here in the very near term at $11.40. I'm not going to count the number of times. I guess I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 6 times. So 5 or 6 times the price has tried to get up through that level and just has been rejected again and again. Last 30 minutes here as I speak, it's looking like the price may try to do battle with it again. But nonetheless, 11.40 is going to be that first key battleground to watch. If the price can push up through there, no guarantees, but I don't think anybody would be shocked to see the price then make a move up to right around that $12 range, which is coming from these highs over here. Again, no such thing as a guarantee. But I don't think it'd be too shocking to see a break of 11.40, especially if it's a high volume break. Get the price moving up to that $12-ish area. In terms of levels of support, key level to watch if there is any sort of pullback right now, that 50-period moving average all the way down there. Purple line currently valued at a little over $10. But in my opinion, at least the most interesting dynamic now, actually, as I speak, look, price actually did poke its head a little bit above this. So is this breakout the start of something even bigger? We'll see what happens over the next couple of days. Next one, MLGO, been a very popular one. And yeah, there's a couple things to update here. Not a whole lot. From those of you that watched the video yesterday, this level I'm actually going to delete out. I think it's pretty irrelevant right now. I am going to leave that level in there. That is kind of the initial area of resistance after it gets to another closer one, which I'll talk about in just a second. So keep an eye on 2450. That does remain a key level. But like I said, I'm just going to get rid of that level for now. No need to create clutter and confusion. And I mentioned a near-term area of resistance, and that would be the purple line right there, 50-period self-moving average. So again, yes, no doubt about it, 2450 should be considered a key level of resistance. My point is that before you really put too much emphasis on that, price first needs to prove itself in the near term. And again, quote unquote, prove itself being defined as getting above that purple line. Right now, that is valued at $20.35. In terms of levels of support, so green for support, key level to watch, which I think it bounced off of today. Let's see. Yeah, very, very close. Right there at about $17.15. So you can see right there was the low from Monday, and then today, like I said, I don't know if it hit it exactly to the penny, but definitely, generally speaking, right down to that level, and so far so good. That is indeed holding as support. If it breaks below there, I'm not saying things collapse, but I am saying that that chart does open up where you could certainly get some more downside momentum. So 17.15, I would say, very, very important level from a support standpoint. Next one, DGLY. All about matter of perspective here. If you do care about the bigger picture standpoint, then there is still an opportunity for this thing to build that overall higher base, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I do also understand if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you were buying up there and your plan was to buy and sell within 13 minutes, from that standpoint, this has been an absolute train wreck for you. So, is this a good or bad looking chart? Again, it goes back to what was your strategy going into it. But the reason why I say from the overall standpoint, there's still a chance for overall trend is all about that purple line there, which you now know is that 50-period moving average, right now valued at 0.033. And the reason why I would say that's a very important level is if the price comes down here and does bounce around before starting to curl back upwards, what do you have emphasis on big picture? Well, from the big picture standpoint, you'd have a set of lows right here. You'd have these lows down here. And again, from the big picture viewpoint, what do you have if you envision these as stair steps? Well, you would still technically have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. Again, I'm well aware that if you're some sort of scalper or day trader and you bought up here, you don't care about these stair steps. But that's why I'm trying to distinguish between the bigger picture and then other types of strategies. So yes, that is a very important level. But if the price does come down to there and then break down below there, at that point, the price is essentially gone right back to where it was. And that's essentially what pump and dumps are, right? Prices make awesome moves and then go right back to where they were. I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that is why, in my opinion, that 50-period moving average is definitely a must-hold level. Next one, SPWH. Very nice pattern on this one, so let's just get right into it. And I'm thinking a lot of people are watching this pattern, and I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movements. So let me change that to green. And then just to make sure that we can see the pattern, let's keep it all one color here. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the big upward move right there. A few golfers make a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. So we have ourselves a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go upwards. But would it be shocking? Would it be just a total just surprise if the price were to come up here, break through there, and then find some momentum on that break? No, that would not be shocking. Again, not guaranteed to happen, but that is a valid thought process to have. So if you like bull pennants, you like prices down below $5, here you go. Next one here, NVDA, and overall, good solid day. Now, again, there is perspective that goes into it. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 3 seconds, well then yes, from that standpoint, things are not looking so good. But from the bigger picture point of view, really hard to find anything to complain about. You can throw in a nice overall trend line there if you want to look at the progress in that form. If you just want to look at the lows, so you have a low there, a low there, a low there, these lows, and if you envision those as stair steps, you can see stair steps still making progress in the upwards direction. So yes, I'm well aware, and I get it. From your perspective, if you're a day trader that bought right there, it would feel as though the chart is totally ruined. And maybe it is from that type of strategy, but just from the overall standpoint, good to see that the price continues to build those higher bases. And on that note, I just want to try to, simplify this, and let's just get one single line in play, and we'll do a ray here. And let's just see if the price can continue to hold above that trend line moving forward, because as long as the price stays above that level, then by definition, it is putting in higher lows, because that's what's going to be required in order to stay above that trend line. And things that are putting in higher lows, that is what bullish uptrends are built from. So just continue to watch that line. And in my opinion, at least, as long as the price is above that level, then the bulls are in full health, full control, however you can best visualize that. In terms of areas of resistance, main battleground to watch right here at that 112 mark. Yes, it was rejected from today, but if you look back here, you can see that was a former rejection point right there. So keep an eye on that level too. If the price, especially if it's a high volume break, I'm not saying it goes straight up to that level, but a good high volume break of that resistance right there, I think that 200 period comes into play potentially, which is up there right around 115.25. But like I said, assuming you care about the bigger of things, picture of things, good solid day as the price continues to build those higher lows. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, we are looking at AREB, and I talked about this pattern already, so I'm going to go through a little bit quicker, try to respect your time as much as possible. But yeah, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So map that out as resistance. And we have the general overall trend right there. You could just use that pink line too as the bottom quote-unquote trend line if you wanted to, but I'm going to just kind of draw that to illustrate the fact that there is still a little bit of a trend upwards. And then just to make this all the same color and hopefully easier to see. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have a very, very nice move right there. And then just because I cannot help myself, we'll put the golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So this one's a little bit more, it's not down below $2 like the other one was. So a nice little variety here. But if you're somebody that likes stocks down below $10, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one here, IBG, and a very interesting pattern here. So just to go through the history and kind of the creation of the pattern, but the price opened up here, made a high right there, and then at that point, things did begin to pull back. And when things pull back and pull back and pull back, it starts to become one of those situations where you throw out there, is this a pump and dump? Is this one of those gap and traps? And we got the answer. The price did essentially go sideways, and now all of a sudden the price is actually got a little bit of an upward slope to it. Now, I wish I could say trading was this easy, where just because something's going sideways with a little upward slope means that for sure guaranteed the pullback is over. Doesn't quite work that way. But my point is it's at least valid. Case in point, let's say the price was still doing this, and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like the pullback's over. You'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally just going straight down. But that's not the case here. It does actually have a little bit of an upward slope to it. So no need to overcomplicate this in terms of key levels of support. If this is the bottom, well, then by definition, it needs to stop going down. So that's where this $2 mark is going to be an important area of support. And then in regards to areas of resistance, maybe you already see it where I'm going with this, but right there at the $1.35 mark, you can see one rejection there, another rejection there. So no guarantees, but if the price comes up here and pushes up through there, in my opinion at least, more than valid to think that a break of that level right there could create some additional buying pressure. So if you like this price range and like these sorts of big movements up, then you get a pullback. Now it's just a question of, is this going to curl back upwards? Keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol CNTM, and same general idea of what I just talked about. This one started off very nice and then started to pull back and pull back and pull back some more, and it becomes that question of, is things about to collapse? And as of now, things have leveled out a little bit. As I've said, does that mean it's a for sure bottom? Of course not, but it just becomes a lot more valid now. So moving forward in terms of areas of support and what I would consider definitely an important one right here around the, let's see, what is that, 68-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. But also to be fair, these moving averages down there could be interesting too, dynamic. 200 period and 50 period, both right now valued at basically 62.5 cents. So if anything, perhaps you could view this as a support zone, so keep an eye on that dynamic. But if this does try to get itself turned back around, then an interesting level of resistance right here around that point right there. Again, no guarantees, but I could see this if it pushes up through there, creating some upwards buying pressure and maybe, percent of the price. I don't know about up to these highs right here, but a high volume break, does that become realistic? I think it's within the realm of reason. Again, not guaranteed, but plausible. So we'll see what happens with it for those of you that like penny stocks. Next one here, SBFM, and we have ourselves another one of these where, this thing is looking very, very hideous. To think that at one point the price was up there and to think that there were people buying right there. Hopefully they were using stop losses, because if not, they got absolutely roasted. But this has been a very ugly pullback, but as you longer time viewers know what I'm going to say next, there can be opportunity in the ugly, because where it all of a sudden started to go sideways makes you go, that's interesting. And where did it start to go sideways? Well, notice right there, these levels that I just talked about on the previous one, the pink line being the 200 period moving average, the purple line being the 50. You can't even see the 50 because both these levels are basically at the same value, that being right there at, let's just call it $2.18. So is this a coincidence that the price started to go sideways right at these key moving averages? I don't think a coincidence. Now, again, does all this mean that it will for sure guaranteed bounce? No guarantees. But is it plausible now to think, I think this thing might be getting ready to bounce? Absolutely. And from a risk versus reward scenario, so assuming you're going to be disciplined, you could be looking at a very nice risk reward scenario, because if you do get some sort of bounce, then relative to what was risked in the first place would be very, very minimal. But again, that's assuming that you're actually going to be a disciplined trader, because if this thing just continues to plunge down, don't become a bag holder. So if you like these sorts of situations where is there opportunity in the ugly, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched the past videos, but if you did, hopefully remember me putting that trend line in play right there. And very, very rough start to the day, but beautiful, beautiful bounce right off there. The pink line of that 200 period moving average came up there, struggled with the 50 period, then eventually got the break, and then it came up here and got a beautiful break and back test of that area of resistance right here. And when you see these sorts of circumstances, where I know right now I have all these circles, but yet the price was just, pushing through all those, that is a good sign. Very, very powerful day here for Tesla. So that is the overall context. We are now in that trendline breakout context. So just a question of, can this push further upwards? So in the very near term, first key level to watch is going to be right here around the 285 mark, which you can see multiple times is where the price has, gotten rejected from it. If it is a high volume break of that level, again, no guarantees, but I think it's well within the realm of reason that a high volume break of 285 could send this up to right around the 291.50 mark, which would be this next resistance from over here. But anyway, look at it. Very, very impressive breakout for Tesla today. So now it's just a question of, will the momentum carry forward? Grab your popcorn and we'll see. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about what you just saw, like I said earlier, the class will be very soon, Thursday, April 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So hope to see you there. Definitely go get signed up. As far as your top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're looking for a very free and easy way to support the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as it really does help out. So thanks for watching, and go get signed up for the free class.